This is the story of the 70-year-old corpse. Once there was a man who sold thorn bushes for a living, and he had a daughter. And one day he went out to pick thorn bushes, and his daughter sat outside to spin her cotton. Now she was sitting outside. A nightingale came to her and said, "Unfortunately, you are going to marry a 70-year-old corpse." The daughter did not respond. However, when her father came home, she said, "Father, a nightingale came to me today and told me I was going to marry a 70-year-old corpse." The father responded by saying, "A nightingale is just a bird. Don't listen to the bird. That doesn't mean anything." The next day, as her father went out to pick her thorn bushes, she sat outside to spin, and the nightingale came to her again and said, "Unfortunately, you're going to marry a 70-year-old corpse." Again, the daughter did not respond, but when her father came home, she said, "Father, a nightingale came to me today and told me I was going to marry a 70-year-old corpse." The father replied and said, "Don't worry about it. Tomorrow, wash your hair and wash your clothes, and we'll go to your aunt's house." So the next day, she woke up. She washed her hair. She washed her body. And they went out with bread and a jug for water to her aunt's house. Now, her aunt's house is a bit away. And as they were walking, she said, "Father, how much longer?" The father replied, "We still have a bit to go." A couple minutes later, "Father, I'm tired. How much longer?" The father replied, "Well, if you're hungry, we can sit and have some bread." So as they sat with some bread, the father got bread stuck in his throat, and he needed water. So the daughter said, "I will go find some water for you." As she goes around in the desert to look for a water hole, she comes across this hut, which has a place to fill her water. As she goes in, she turns around to see the doors have shut behind her. She starts to cry. She does not know what to do. And then a window opens. As she looks through the window, there are 7 rooms. The 7th room has a 70-year-old corpse. As she sits by the 70-year-old corpse, she hears a bell. And someone's walking by. She said, "How much is a concubine?" And concubine is a woman who is married to a man, but she's lesser than a wife. So she's kind of like a maid. The man replied and told her how much a concubine was. So she paid the man and received a concubine. She told the concubine, I'm going to go pray. You pick all the needles off of the 70-year-old corpse except for the one on the nose. Don't pick the one on the nose until I come back." The concubine picked every single needle off of the corpse, except even for the one on his nose. As she picked the one on his nose, the corpse arose and said, "I will marry whoever picked all the needles off of me." So he eventually married the concubine and made the thorn bush's daughter a concubine instead. The next day he says, "I am going to buy some clothes for my wife. I'm going to go into the city and purchase some things." And he asked the thorn bush's daughter, "What do you want from the city?" She responds by saying, "I would like a patience stone and a black-handed knife." He says, "Okay." As he goes into the city, he looks through every store. Now, stores, they sell patience stones, but there was not one store who sold a black-handled knife. As he was walking on the way back, he was very upset how he could not find the thorn bush's daughter a black-handled knife. He comes across the man who tells him where to purchase one, but he says, "Be careful. She will tell her life story and afterwards kill herself." So, the 70-year-old corpse comes home with a patience stone and a black-handled knife, and he gives him to the thorn bush's daughter. Now, the thorn bush's daughter starts telling her life story. "One day, when my father went out to pick thorn bushes and I was outside, a nightingale came to me and told me I would marry a 70-year-old corpse. My father responded to me and said not to worry about it. The next day, when my father went out to pick some thorn bushes and I was outside spinning my cotton, a nightingale came to me again and told me I would one day marry a 70-year-old corpse. Again, my father told me not to worry about it and told me to wash myself for tomorrow because we are going to my aunt's house." Now, in between every part of this story, she would say, "Oh, patient stone, you patient and I patient. a black-handled knife be the witness of my heart. And she went along to tell her entire life story, until this moment. She said, now that my story is told, do I kill myself, or do I kill the 70-year-old corpse? The 70-year-old corpse opens the oven which she was in, lifts her up and says, no, I will buy a horse. He ties the concubine's hair to the horse and has him run. He ran until the concubine was torn apart. The 70-year-old corpse used the concubine's head as a wine glass, and he eventually marries the thornbush's daughter. And that's the story.